A CQ Lifestyle here on 994RO. This is Luke hanging out with you this morning on thanks to Doblos. And joining me now for the, I guess, first time 2026, but first time also just broadly speaking, it will be Jason Foss, the President of the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, mate. How are you?
Good morning. Well, thanks. Good morning, Luke. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is start from a number of perspectives, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fresh start. Now, previously we had Steve. Steve's now retired. He used to do like consulting, business advice and things like that. But this is going to be, I guess, a bit more about, looking at business and focusing, promoting lots of different things over the next however long.
Yeah. I mean, our focus is SMEs, small to medium businesses, primarily local businesses in the area, from Rocky to Gracemere to Yeppoon to the the Capricornia district. So whatever we can do to help these local businesses survive and thrive, we're on it.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I reckon we should get into it. We're going to, you're obviously president of the Chamber of Commerce, but there's a lot of other things you do as well in life.
Yeah, well, so the Chamber of Commerce we're an all-volunteer committee. My day job is we've got almost anything web and graphic design, and I've been doing that for approaching 30 years now, about 28 years we've been running.
Oh, nice.
In that capacity as well, we've worked with a lot of businesses who are just starting out, businesses who are growing, businesses who are looking to grow. We've made a bunch of mistakes ourselves. We've watched a bunch of other businesses make mistakes, and you learn from all of these things. Life's a journey that you're learning from all the time. My head's full of advice. Just ask me. Well, I'm not very good at implementing it myself, mind you, but I'm good at telling other people.
I'm going to ask you, because what we're talking about today is, I guess, in some ways, about starting businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
So starting a new business, getting your name right.
Yeah, this is a big one for me. A lot of people overlook this, but your business name is more important than your logo and your fonts and your colours and everything else, because if you hear an ad on the radio, you hear the business name, you don't see anything. If you Google them, you're seeing the business name before you click through and see anything else. And it's really hard to change your business name if you've been going for a little while. Like if you start a new business and after a couple of years you don't like your logo, sure, change your logo. But changing your business name is really hard. So you've got to put some thought into it and get it right first up.
Just like Elon Musk when he bought Twitter. I still call it Twitter. I don't care what he talks about.
Don't we all?
It's still Twitter.
X is a silly name, isn't it? But anyway.
They try and change it. People still
calling it Twitter.
So I guess, make sure you pick the name that's right for you.
Yeah, and it's you got to be careful too. Don't just pick something that you like. It's got to be something that other people are going to sort of get it when they hear it. You need to set that. Like the saying is, never judge a book by its cover, because we all do it. It's human nature. We see something and we very quickly decide whether that's right for us or wrong for us, or what we want or what we don't want. And so you really need to put some thought into it before you do anything else.
What about something like, you've got an example here like Dave's Plumbing, using your actual name or, an abbreviation kind of like that?
Yeah, this is I guess a lazy option that a lot of people will take. There's a couple of issues with just using your name in your business. When you start a business, you probably need to think about your exit strategy at the same time. So maybe it's 30 years down the track, but if you're going to sell your business that's attached to your name, all of a sudden your name is then out of your control and somebody else is looking after it. Just ask Dick Smith how he felt about when he sold Dick Smith Electronics to Kogan. He was not very happy. The other thing too is it can potentially make you feel a bit small in backyard, and if that's the look you're going for, then fine. But I'd be a bit careful about just calling it Dave's Plumbing or something like that.
How about something like ASD Group?
Oh, three-letter acronyms. This is my favourite one. Get ready, I'm on the soapbox now.
All right, fire away.
This works for somebody like KFC, who for decades before they went to KFC were Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows them as Kentucky Fried Chicken because that's what they were for years and years and years and years and years, and then they've shortened it to KFC. And even now, how much do they spend on advertising every year? They sponsor the rugby league through winter and the cricket in summer, and you see their ads all over the place. They're spending a fortune to reinforce that name. Now, if you're starting a business or you've got one and it's called ASD Group or XYZ Consulting or QZT Contracting or whatever it happens to be, or anything like that, it's really forgettable. Like, what were those letters again?
KFC.
Yeah. So, it's kind of a bit forgettable. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Like, those initials might mean something to you. They might be your initials or something.
Massive, faceless corporate kind of thing, but don't really have a public-facing thing. They kind of just sit in the background doing stuff.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because I've asked a few people, like, why did you pick that name? And a couple of them said, because we want to sound bigger. And I think, well, that's fine. But if you think about the biggest, most well-known brands in the world, Apple, Amazon, Google, Coca-Cola, like all of these really big guys do not have three-letter acronym names.
Trying to think of there's QBE is probably the only one that I can think of.
Yeah, IBM's a big one. Like IBM, they're a big player, but that's another example.
But they shortened that, really.
Yeah, they started out as international business machines, and if you look back at their older logos, they were international business machines. It was spelled out in full. That's another name that got shortened over time once people knew who they were. But if you're starting out something and you're picking a three-letter acronym name, you're operating on hard mode. Yeah, it's boring and forgettable. And I guess if you want to be boring and forgettable, sure, pick a three-letter acronym name.
Fun fact, just on the KFC thing, and I love telling the story because I think it's hilarious. My grandfather-in-law, my partner's grandfather, he is from America. He is actually literally a Kentucky colonel.
Oh, really?
And he does look like Colonel Sanders. Like, not even a joke. I first looked at him and think, oh my God, it's Colonel Sanders. He's here.
Does he walk into a KFC and get free chicken?
I don't know. I don't know.
He should. He totally should.
He'd never walk in. He's too good for that.
That's golden.
What about more locality kind of things? Like, example, CQ contracting.
Yeah, CQ contracting, Rockhampton electricians, Yeppoon plumbing, whatever the case may be. A lot of the time this is okay, and I just sort of say okay, but I have had more than one occasion where somebody's gone to the point where, look, I'd like to open a branch in Gladstone or Bundaberg or Mackay or Emerald. And if you've got your place name in your business name, you're going to look like a foreigner when you open, or an out-of-towner more to the point, when you open up that branch in that different location. So what do you then do? Do you have, okay, well, we've got, Rockhampton Plumbing here. We'll have to have a new business called Gladstone Plumbing or a new business called Mackay Plumbing, or do we just open up as Rockhampton Plumbing in these other locations and hope for the best? Or, yeah, it's a name that can put a ceiling on where you take your business down the track.
Yeah, I guess particularly if you have products that you might need to go to a website and online for, where it might be different locations, but people go to a website that has that location, thinking, well, where am I good to the right place?
If you're selling that kind of thing, absolutely.
Confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, if you're certain that you're not going to do any business aside from the location that you're working in ever, sure, but it does put an artificial ceiling on what you can do later.
And I guess just to recap, so, go back through what makes a good name overall.
What makes a good name? Well, before I jump into that, I guess to reinforce how important this is, you wouldn't start a new business and call yourselves Rockhampton's dodgiest plumber. So, if you wouldn't do that, then you have to agree that the name you choose is really important. It says something. It says something about you and your business. So I've got a few guidelines here in terms of how to pick a good business name. So the first one is brevity and ease of spelling. So is it brief? Can you spell it easy? Be careful with making up, say some business names are sort of intentionally misspelled.
Yes.
They'll replace, they'll put an X instead of, CKS, or they'll put, a Z instead of an S or something like that. You're just asking for trouble. You're going to be forever spelling it to people if you say, email me on, no, it's not an S, it's a Z. So yeah, brevity and ease of spelling is the first one. Second one is distinctiveness. So this is where things like, ASD group and those sorts of things fall in a hole, as they're not particularly distinctive. So you want to have something that sort of stands out from other businesses in your industry. Appropriate. And I guess a good example for this is something like Silly Solly's or The Reject Shop. They're good names. They're appropriate names because you get a mental picture like the name suits the shop.
Yeah.
You know exactly what's happening there. Whereas if you were sort of trying to start up a David Jones and you called it Silly Sollies, it just wouldn't. Yeah, it's completely wrong.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right at all. No, it doesn't have the right mouthfeel, as somebody said to me once. Too much of a wine connoisseur there, I think. So that's appropriate. The fourth one is likable. Obviously, you don't want to pick a name that just like sounds horrible and is unlikable from the get-go. Fifth one is extendable. This can be a tricky one. McDonald's do this really well. So, it gets shortened to Macca's and that's fine, but you've got the Big Mac and the McFeast and Chicken McNuggets, and they've kind of built their business name into different products that they sell. That's a tricky one, and it's hard for a lot of businesses to do. But if you do find a name that you can kind of then massage into naming your products, that can be a win. And the sixth one is protectable. So be careful about using common words, especially if you sort of if you're trying to Google something and it's a common word. Instead of your business name showing up, half the time Google will want to show the definition for that common word and other uses of that common word, or maybe a thesaurus listing for that common word. And so that can kind of bring you unstuck as well and make you a bit harder to find.
Yeah.
So they're my 6 kind of guidelines in terms of what makes a good business name.
And I suppose you've got to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to be comfortable with it. Yeah, you're going to see it a lot and say it a lot. So don't pick something that you don't like either.
Awesome. Jason, thanks for dropping in. That's much appreciated, and we'll do this again next week.
Thanks, Luke. We'll talk to you then.